So we are starting.
Okay. మీరు షేర్ స్క్రీన్ చేయమన్నప్పుడు నేను చేస్తాను. ఓకేనా?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. A very good morning to one and all. Gabriel Hanmaya, Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, welcome all the participants, guests to this webinar that is being organized in association with Indian Pharmaceutical Association Education. To bring you a very brief notice, this is the 6th webinar that this institute is organizing during this period of COVID pandemic. The institute concentrated on several issues in its previous webinars, all the issues regarding to the industrial aspects. First webinar being concentrating purely on the ethics, followed by plagiarism, followed by citations, and also an interactive webinar was also organized with respect to the clinical data management and review articles. Today, in the 6th webinar, the institute is now focusing on regulatory and corporate affairs in the perspective of pharmaceutical field. So we have 2 sessions for this webinar today. The morning session where the regulatory aspects are given importance and followed by the corporate affairs during the evening session. And regulatory session is now being the importance of regulatory affairs during the COVID. Now, regulatory affairs is an aspect where the novel pharma is concentrating on, but this webinar would likely to give more understanding about the regulatory aspects in pharmaceutical perspective. Now, without any delay, I request Dr. V. Venkat Rao to please introduce the guests to our participants.
Good morning to all the participants. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. I. Nagendran, Vice President, Global Regulatory Affairs, Arbindo Pharma Limited, Hyderabad. Dr. Nagendran completed his B.Pharmacy from SCS College of Pharmacy, Harpanhalli, Master's degree from JSS College of Pharmacy, Ooty, with pharmaceutical specialization. During this period, he was the best outgoing student. He received his doctoral degree from Acharya Nagarjuna University. He is an experienced regulatory professional with a demonstrated history of working in the pharmaceutical industry, and he is highly skilled in programming with an understanding of regulatory NMPA, China, Swissmedic, and all other emerging markets, Latin America, Central America, Brazil, Asian region, and East Africa. Dr. Nagendran is having total 24 years of industrial experience at various positions in the industries like AstraZeneca, Medrich Limited, InShift Laboratories, and from past 14 years, he is serving as Vice President, Regulatory Affairs, Arbindo Pharma Limited. With this brief introduction, now I invite Dr. Nagendran sir for delivering session on today's topic, Pharma Regulatory Issues on COVID-19 Pandemic. We are very happy to have you, sir. So please continue the session, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I am Nagendran, working as Vice President, Global Regulatory Affairs for Arbindo Pharma. I am having 23 years of professional experience in various multinational companies and Indian companies. I am happy to share my experience or knowledge with the future pharmacy professionals through this forum. I am very thankful for the CHIPS College management for giving me this opportunity. Here, I would like to explain a little bit about regulatory affairs, product development, to understand what are the challenges pharmaceutical industry is facing during this COVID menace. Welcome to my presentation. What are the challenges this pharma industry is facing today? As a personal, every one of you must be feeling a lot of difference before March 2020 and after March 2020. Right? We are not able to meet our friends. We are not able to have get-together, or we are not able to share the cup of coffee, and we are not able to share with our friends even a thumbs up. So similarly, pharmaceutical industry also facing a lot of challenges. How our personal life has got impacted. In the similar, our personal life impact is directly proportional to any industry. Now today, pharmaceutical industry is fighting with this COVID directly and indirectly. How directly we are fighting? We are fighting with COVID-19 by trying to develop the vaccine at the earliest. And what is the indirect fight? Our organizations are trying to save all of us from this COVID-19. If we got affected, it leads to the closure of our labs, our premises, our manufacturing facilities, which stops the supplies of the pharmaceutical products, and which we cannot cope up. Now, before going to the main presentation, I would like to explain you about regulatory affairs. This regulatory affairs is a profession which has got the two sides of the coin. One is as a regulatory affairs professional for a pharmaceutical industry. Other side of the coin is a regulatory professional as part of the regulatory authority. As a regulatory professional in industry, we have the responsibility of ensuring our company complies to all the regulatory norms and ensuring a safe, a quality and effective product made available to the human. And in industry, as a regulatory professional, I have the responsibility from getting the manufacturing license and getting the GMP certification for the plant. And we involve from designing the preclinical studies while developing the compound for a targeted disease and developing the API, full-fledged API, then developing the formulation, then clinical trials, then submitting all this data to the regulatory authorities. After getting approval, involving in the manufacturing, taking the product to the commerce. So as a regulatory professional for industry, we involve from the getting a manufacturing license, end to end it is. From getting the manufacturing license to till the product goes to the market. In the process, we ensure whatever the product is developed or manufactured is meeting required quality, safety, efficacy norms and ensuring a right product is available. So in other words, a regulatory affairs professional will prove his product is of best quality and effective and safe. By proving this, we get the approvals for the products to export to various countries wherever we want to export. And other side of the coin is a regulatory professional as a regulator working for USFDA, working for MHRA, working for TGA Australia, working for our CDSCO India. So this is other side. So there, what is the main responsibility? They will be auditing our facilities. They will be reviewing all the documentation what we provide to get the approval. And they will draft the guidelines, what an industry should meet. And what is their ultimate aim is providing the, once again, a quality product, a safe product, a effective product, to their country public. So here, my role as a regulatory professional industry is developing and manufacturing a product which meets the quality, efficacy, safety norms. And as a regulatory professional of the regulatory authority, ensure that a quality, safety, and effective product is available in the market, available in the commerce for their public. The right product is available. Okay, this is the briefly about the responsibilities of the regulatory professional. Then you must be knowing what is innovator product, what is generic product. Then what is the general impact of pandemic, this COVID-19, on lives, things we do every day. See, normally earlier we used to give this type of presentation by coming to college or in global regulatory firms by having the face-to-face. But today, because of this pandemic, I'm giving this webinar. So this is itself a great impact. There is a great impact. I'm not able to see you. I'm not getting measure of giving the presentation. If I see you, if I have eye-to-eye contact with you, and if I see your face feelings, then I will get measure. Now I am not getting measure. This is there's a lot of missing, lot of connectivity missing. We are not able to meet our friends. It is like a house arrest. It is affecting a lot. Earlier, every day I used to go to office. Now I'm working from home. As a regulatory person, I have this. Otherwise, my other colleagues are going to office with a lot of fear. What will happen? There's a lot of change. In the similar way, healthcare industry also fighting with this unseen enemy. How this pharmaceutical industry is facing the problem. Now, in India, from March 22nd or March 23rd to some 21 days or some 30 days, there was a lockdown period. During lockdown period, what they said, except essential things, nothing, everything got stopped. Even courier services, even international flights, everything got stopped. Then how do we get the raw material? How do we manufacture? What are the inputs? Okay, we will have some stocks. It will be lasting for 1 month or 2 months. Afterwards, even today, still there is no transportation. Still we are not getting the material in time. So how do we supply the product? What is the need for the public? Every day, due to our lifestyle, we are becoming prone to diseases. Need of medicine has become essential. And this medicine has become nowadays, it is supposed to be in our pocket. Like BP medicine, like sugar medicine, it has become part and parcel of our life. So pharma industry is struggling to get the raw materials, supply continuity issues, lockdown across the globe. And one more thing, giving priority to serve only local markets, meaning every country is limiting or blocking the exports. Unlike other industries, pharma industry cannot switch the suppliers of active pharmaceutical ingredients or excipients, which could affect the quality, safety, and efficacy of the product. See, this quality, safety, efficacy, that is the mantra for our pharmacy professionals. When we develop, when we manufacture the product, quality should be the utmost priority. And safe, it should be safe. If the product is not safe, there is no point we consuming for some pharmacological activity. And efficacy should be effective. Right? This is the mantra for us. Quality, safety, efficacy. So initially, I proved my product's quality, safety, efficacy by showing this is the A is the API, B is the excipient, C is the excipient. A is supplied from X, B is supplied from Y, C is supplied from Z. So with this formula, from these suppliers, I proved my product's quality, safety, efficacy. Today, due to this coronavirus, due to this pandemic, due to these lockdowns, we are not able to get the raw materials. We are not able to get the API from our approved sources. Suppose, for example, our main enemy today, China. We Indians don't like China today. Entire globe don't like China because of coronavirus. And we, because of our border issues, we don't like China, as you know. But unfortunate thing is, we are dependent on China for API. 80% of API supplies are from China only. Once upon a time, we were top in API manufacturing and all. Later, China took over it. Now we are depending on them. Now, first, China got affected. We were not getting the API. So to change the API immediately, no, it is not possible. I cannot change. Because what is the guarantee? That API gives the same stability to my product. So whenever I want to change the API, I need to develop some data. I need to prove that my product is equally safe and equally stable, even I get the same API from different source. So I need to generate that data. I need to submit the data to authorities. I should get approval. Without that approval, I can't change the API source or excipient sources. So this is another big challenge what we pharmaceutical industry is facing. And there is a huge regulatory implications, development studies, time and cost involved if I am forced to change the source of raw materials. Business continuity of pharma industry is at stake because of supply disruptions, challenges from quarantines. Quarantines means, suppose if somebody gets affected with COVID positive and all his immediate contacts need to go to quarantine for 15 days. So entire lab will be closed. If entire lab is closed, the analysis or manufacturing, these things cannot happen. So we cannot meet the timelines. All these are the problems. Now, that leads to the site closures. Then travel limitations. We are not able to travel from one place to other place. And site personnel or trial participants become infected with COVID-19. Because our trials will be going on, clinical trials or bioequivalent trials will be going on. Today, getting the people, it is becoming very difficult. And in fact, people are not coming forward to be as the volunteer for the clinical trials. So all this from the supplies, from the getting infected to COVID, non-availability of the people, all these are the problem today for pharmaceutical industry. But pharmaceutical industry cannot be closed like any other industry. If IT industry is closed for 15 days, there is no impact. Maybe it will have economical impact, but pharmaceutical industry is not like that. Pharmaceutical industry is a life-saving industry, and we cannot lock down. This is the essential item. So we need to overcome all these problems in spite of having these challenges, in spite of having this COVID-19. Now, how these regulatory authorities are helping us, helping industry, how they are coming forward by little bit of relaxation in the regulation, but not compromising on quality, safety, efficacy. So before going into that, how they are helping us, first I would like to give you an overview of how the product is developed. If you understand that little bit, then we can understand, because now for COVID, we are looking for the new product. We are looking for the new product. We are looking for the new vaccine, which was not there. So it is the innovation. So one, we should understand how the product develops, how the product gets developed. If you understand that, what is the role of regulatory authorities in product development? If you understand that, you can understand very well how regulators are helping industry in developing the COVID-19 vaccine. Okay, now, so this development is 6 phases. One is preclinical phase, then IND submission. IND means investigational new drug submission. If it is approved, then we go to the clinical studies. If clinical studies are completed successfully, then we go for new drug application submission, then FDA review, then FDA outcome. So this drug development is a process of bringing a new pharmaceutical drug to the market. Once lead compound is identified through the process of drug discovery. This drug discovery includes total 6 phases. First one is preclinical studies. Here, these new chemical entities or compounds that emerge from the process of drug discovery. These are supposed to have promising activity against a particular biological target that is important in targeted disease. However, little is known about the safety, toxicity, pharmacokinetics, and metabolism of this new chemical entity in humans. During preclinical studies, we cannot understand how it behaves in the human. These preclinical studies are done on the animals. It is a function of drug development to assess all of these parameters prior to human clinical trials. A further major objective of drug development is to recommend the dose and scheduled for the first use in a human clinical trial. So why these basically these clinical studies? This preclinical studies gives assurance for a drug to move into the next stage, to the human clinical trials. And these preclinical trials tells us how a compound can be developed, that is which dosage form it can be developed into, how much dose can be given. And this preclinical studies give some sort of assurance regarding the safety. So these preclinical studies are very important phase. First, basically, it provides us the pathway to develop further stages of the product by giving the assurance on basically about safety. Now, once the preclinical studies are completed, see, the preclinical testing are two types once again. Short-term animal studies. This is basically to determine the pharmacological action and toxicity. Long-term animal studies are, suppose if you are taking a dose for 30 days or 60 days, what type of side effects will be there on it? So to understand all these are the short-term preclinical studies and long-term preclinical studies are there. Now, once the preclinical studies are completed, and if you are confident that yes, I am getting the desired pharmacological effect on the animals, and it given us the what type of dosage form should be developed that, and how it should be administered, if we understand, if you are confident that yes, it can be taken forward to the human, then we will submit the investigational new drug application form to the FDA. This is not to get the marketing approval. This IND submission is only to get the approval to do the trials in humans. This IND, this application, what all you should have? You should have is how the drug is manufactured, how the drug appears, what are the pharmacological or physicochemical and pharmacological properties of the drug, and how the drug is formulated, and in which dosage form it is formulated, and what are the inactivity, what is the composition, at what ratio it is, and of course, developing the specification, what are the tests need to be conducted, and what are the acceptance criteria, developing that method, and also it will be tested for the drug, how it is assuring the safety. So all this need to be submitted as part of the IND. Then FDA reviews this IND application, and if it approves, it will go to the next stage. It will go to the next stage, that is human trials. And suppose if it is rejected, again we have to go back to our lab, and we have to keep doing the preclinical studies. Why IND can reject? If participants are exposed to unreasonable or significant risk, we are not able to give confidence to the FDA. Suppose if FDA feels that participants are exposed to unreasonable risk, there is a safety problem. If they are not confirmed, if they are not assured, they will not give approval. Then suppose investigators, if they feel these investigators are not fit to conduct the clinical trial, they will not give. Then whatever the material we are, first we need to give the material to the volunteers. We need to take their consent. If that consent forms or if these materials are not giving clear information about the drug, what for it is, what for these clinical trials are, then they will not give approval. So that information should be given very clearly to the volunteers, and we have to take the consent from the volunteers. Then this investigational new drug application does not include enough information about the trial risk, about the trial, what is the risk probability, what is the risk proportion. If we do this one, if they are not able to give that clearly, then regulatory authority will not approve for the clinical trials. Now, after this IND submission, we will do the clinical trials on the human. These clinical trials are basically 4 types. One is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. This phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 are done prior to product approval. Phase 4 is done. It is not a clinical trial. It is post-marketing surveillance. This is called as the pharmacovigilance. This is the post-marketing surveillance. So now at present, we will talk about phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 briefly. These phase 1 trials basically are done to establish the safety of the drug compound on the humans. These clinical trials are done on 20 volunteers. This is purely for the safety purpose, to determine the safety and dosing. Phase 2 trials are used to get the initial reading of efficacy, effective, whether it is giving the desired pharmacological activity and it is working on the targeted disease or not. And of course, also further explore the safety in a small number of patients having the disease targeted by the new chemical entity. Okay, so phase 1 trials are purely for safety purpose and dosing purpose. Phase 2 trials are for safety as well as efficacy and safety. These phase 2 trials are done from 20 volunteers to 100 volunteers, whereas these phase 3 trials are called as multi-centric, multi-location, and it is done on the thousands of volunteers, basically to establish the efficacy and if any side effects are there. And these phase 3 trials are done all the races of the humans, majority. We have to try to cover, because once we develop the product, the product is not only for, suppose if I am developing a product, it is not only for Indian public. I should be able to export to all the countries. But in different countries, different people, different races, their food habits are different, their body structure is different, their body metabolism is different. So it may work, it may not work. So that is the reason in phase 3 trials, we try to cover. Suppose if you see our Bharat Biotech's vaccine, they are given a schedule that they will do in Brazil, they will do in Europe, they will do in Mexico, they will do on Africans, they will do on Indians. It is like that. Why? Because to ensure that this drug works for all the races of the human, all the races of human. And it is safe and it is effective in all the races of the human. So this phase 3 trials, that is why it is called as the multi-centric, multi-location clinical trials, phase 3. Usually these are not done on the thousands of the volunteers. Once these clinical studies are successful, and if we are able to establish that this product is the compound, whatever the developed compound is safe and effective, then we will submit the new drug application form to the FDA. This new drug application form is not only about the clinical trial. This contains about how the API is developed, how the methods are developed, how the methods are validated, how the submission batches are validated, all the stability data, what is the retesting period for that, then preclinical studies done on by using the API, then how the formulation is developed and in which dosage form it is developed, what are the batch sizes, what are the methods used to analyze, to that is quality assessment, then all these clinical trials, then shelf life establishment, all these details will be provided in this NDA application, new drug application. We submit this one to the regulatory authority, is FDA or MHRA, FDA or EMEA. See, these are the three considered as the major regulatory authorities. First, normally anybody goes to the US FDA, afterwards EMEA, then Japan MHLW. So these are the major regulatory. Of course, there are so many other stringent regulatory authorities are there, but it is US FDA is considered as the most competitive regulatory authority, EMEA is considered as the most competitive authority, and MHLW of Japan. Okay. So if you see here, if a compound emerges from clinical studies with an acceptable toxicity and safety profile, and the company can further show it has the desired effect in clinical trials, then the new chemical entity portfolio of evidence can be submitted for marketing approval in the various countries where the manufacturer plans to sell it. And NDA includes all animal and human data and analysis data, as well as the information about how the drug behaves in the body, how it is manufactured, tested. All the details will be provided in NDA. Okay. Then FDA will review. And normally FDA will give approval in 10 to 12 months time, if everything is fine, if there are no queries, but it is unlikely. Not having the queries is unlikely situation. So definitely queries will be there. How fast we respond to those queries depends upon the outcome of how fast we get the approval. In general, if everything is fine, all well situation, We get, see here, it is 12 months time. We will get this is the NDA review timeline as per the ESFDA. So in 12 months, we should get. Okay, but all practical purpose, it may not be possible to get, because definitely there will be some queries which a manufacturer or which a developer or sponsor we called as need to respond to those queries to satisfactory level of FDA to get the approval. So now, if you look at this one, okay, now if everything is fine, either FDA will give approval or it will reject. Let us assume that FDA is giving approval for us. So now, to understand this, so what is the time? Okay, coming to this one, see, in one single slide, it tells about how the drug is developed. See, first phase, the drug is developed, then animal tested, then IND application. Is this IND review? If we get this IND review approval, then it goes to the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. All this I explained already, but in ESFDA, typical example, this one. ESFDA, it is copied from the ESFDA website. Okay. Now, if you see the typical timeline for a drug reaching to market from the development stage, it takes minimum 10 years to 15 years. And afterwards, it is not guaranteed that it will be after 15 years of work, it will be successful. Not guaranteed. See, suppose if our great Dr. Angireddy Garu, I read one of his interview. In that he was feeling bad that they've invested a lot into the innovator, to develop the innovator product. At different phases, they failed to get it. So his dream, he was telling his dream was to develop the innovator product from Dr. Reddy's. Unfortunately, today in India, still we are not able to develop. Hope this COVID-19 situation brings the best out of us, and we will become the innovator. India will become the innovator. India is not less to any other country in developing the innovator products. Hope this COVID-19 brings that. Okay, our Bharat Biotech, Hyderabad-based company is working on it. Already human trials started. As you must be knowing, you must be following all this information through news portals or anything. Okay, now from this development till the product goes to the market, it is happening. It is, see, if you see drug discovery 3 to 6 years, clinical trial 6 to 7 years, then FDA review 0.6 months to 2 years, then post-marketing surveillance. Okay, let us take this 10 years. The product is successfully developed and reached the market. But now in COVID-19 situation, when the first case got identified in China, it got identified, if I am not wrong, it is on 30th December 2019. Today the date is 12th July 2020. That means it is exactly 6 months, 14 days. So in the 6 months, 14 days, human world is expecting to develop a medicine or vaccine to come out of this COVID-19 problem. Is it a big challenge for the pharmaceutical industry or not? It is not only for the industry, it is a big challenge for the regulators also. How to support industry to develop such a product on that fast track without compromising our mantra, quality, safety, efficacy. At any point of time, we should not compromise on it. If you compromise, the purpose of developing a product will get defeated. So do anything and everything. Ultimate thing is develop a product with the quality, safety, efficacy. So this is a big challenge, developing a product and guiding the industry. So it is a both side challenge. So how do you feel today about being a pharmacy professional? Entire world is looking at pharma industry as the savior. And you know, many of my friends who are working in IT or in other fields, Nagendra, when we get the vaccine, as if I am manufacturing in my house, they keep asking me. That is the anxiety levels. So many people will be calling me, asking me when this vaccine will come, when we will have normal life. Earlier, nobody asked me like this. Can you ask the same question to IT industry? Can you ask some banking sector or real estate? No, we are only pharma industry. So today we are the savior. We should feel proud that we are working for the pharma industry. And you are the pharmacy, you are the upcoming future pharmacy professionals. You can do wonders if you are committed. If you are committed, we can do wonders. This is a great opportunity for us to show what is our strength, what is our mettle, how the pharma industry in India. Of course, even today, 60% of the vaccines of the global requirement is supplied from India. And in the world, the more number of manufacturing facilities are approved by USFDA in India. From manufacturing side, we are definitely number one. Formulations. 60% of the volumes what is required are manufactured in India. As per the data I have. But only the drawback is we are not able to develop a new molecule, new product. Hope that Bharat Biotech fulfills that our dream. No, because of this pandemic situation, we are expecting this 10 years of process of drug development in 10 months or 12 months. So regulators across the globe are working relentlessly to expedite the clinical studies. Application review process by releasing new guidance to help industry without compromising for the quality of the treatment on prevention for COVID-19. For example, if you take COVID-19 diagnostic test kits, you must be knowing in India, in the March, we were not having many kits. And the sample used to go to Pune. And we used to get the results only after 2 to 3 days. Am I right? But afterwards, our governments started doing 1 lakh, 100,000, 200,000 per day, now to 200,000. They're doing. How it is possible? By developing the kits. In normal condition, it takes few months to years, depending on regulatory authority, to give the approval for such kits. But today, every country is giving this approval for COVID kits in few days to weeks. Few days to weeks. Okay, so what is the challenge on the regulatory authorities? They cannot take their usual time, but at the same time, they cannot compromise on the QSE. They cannot compromise. Now, if you take the drug Remdesivir, you must be knowing Hetero has already launched in India. This Remdesivir is the, if I am not wrong, this is the innovator of this the Gilead. So FDA first approved for this product on 1st May 2020 under emergency use authorizations. Under emergency use authorizations, they approved this one on 1st May 2020. Then MHRA, that is UK's regulatory authority, MHRA, approved on 26th May 2020. Okay, see, if you see that these products are approved in highly regulated markets in the month of May. And in last week, if I'm not wrong, 26th or 27th, I don't remember exact date, that Hetero has released this product in India. That means in these 2 months, the innovator has given the license to generic companies to manufacture this product. Normally, when a new product is developed, by spending 10 to 15 years, by investing millions of dollars, normally patent will be there, patent production will be there for 20 years because he has to get back all the money, whatever he invested. Here, we must salute to the innovator by he is ready to lose that money. He is not looking at the business today. He has given the license to all these companies. Maybe he must be taken some royalty. I don't know all that agreement, what are the legal agreement, but at least they are given license in India. If you see 6 companies, one is Hetero, Dr. Reddy's, Mylan, Jubilant, Cipla, Cadila. 6 companies they are given. And so that means now one more thing what we understand here is normally in India to get the manufacturing license for a new product, it takes a minimum 180 days. This is the law. 180 days is the minimum timeline. If there is no queries, our CDSCO, our Indian Drug Regulatory Authority, CDSCO, takes 180 days for approval. But in these 2 months, pharma industry worked together, drafted the license agreements. Then parallelly, our companies applied to CDSCO with available data to get the approval. And our CDSCO has given approval. Then our company like Hetero or any other companies, they are procuring the required raw materials, packing materials, manufacturing on fast track. and releasing the product. So that means in 60 days time, if you take May 1st approval as the one other side starting point, then the launch date of Etros, that is 26th or 27th, let us take 60 days. In 60 days, all these activities have happened. That is licensing, agreement, filing in India, getting approval, our people procuring all the raw material, packing material, manufacturing, and releasing the product to the market. It is something unimaginable. So you can understand how the regulators, how the industry is working in this current moment. See now, the fourth point, Indian CDSCO approval for some drugs. Hetero, Remdesivir injection, Bharat Biotech vaccine clinical phase 1 approval are some examples how even Indian regulatory authority is working. See this Bharat Biotech, within 6 months, they developed the product, they developed the vaccine, and they completed the preclinical trial successfully. And they got approval to do the phase 1 trials on the human. And they started already. We have seen some people giving some people enrolling themselves as the volunteers. Getting volunteers is a very great difficulty at present. Okay. Necessity is the mother of invention. In one word, when there is a damn need is there, we rise to the occasion and we develop the things. See, now how Bharat Biotech is, in future, such a big industry, Indian industry, is not able to develop the product. Today, Bharat Biotech has come out with 6 months, yes. And in fact, ICMR announced officially that by August 15th, we will release the vaccine. Okay, personally, I have doubts on it. It may not be possible. It will not be possible also. But still, how they develop within 6 months? This is called as the necessity. Necessity is the mother of invention. That necessity brings out the best in us. Under pressure, we excel. Now, what are the exemptions for pharma industry during this corona pandemic from regulatory authorities without compromising on quality, safety, efficacy? Normally, for any industry, WHO GMP certification is mandatory. That is, good manufacturing practice certification is mandatory. If GMP certification is not there, we are not allowed to manufacture the product and we are not able to export the product. In case of CDSCO, suppose if any GMP is getting expired between March to August 2020, they extended that one for 6 months. In India, they extended for 6 months. That means for 6 months, they will not come for audit and they authorized. They extended officially, that is, something is getting expired on June 30th. Now it is valid up to the December 31st, 2020. So this is one relaxation. Now, European authority has started accepting all the documents by using e-signatures and they are issuing CPP. CPP I will explain. Okay, CPP also, process also got accelerated. What is the CPP? This is CPP is called a Certificate of Pharmaceutical Product. Without this certificate of pharmaceutical product, in many emerging markets, in many countries, I cannot seek the approval for my product. See, earlier I told you in India, I keep API data, API how it is manufactured, finished product data, how finished product is manufactured, preclinical data, clinical data, all these I keep, right? At the same time, for some countries, along with that data, I should be able to give the WHO GMP certification and also COPP. COPP is issued by local regulatory authority. COPP, Certificate of Pharmaceutical Product. This is issued by the local authority, without which I cannot. So for the COPP, now suppose if I am exporting a product from Europe to some other country like Israel or take Middle East countries. So I get the COPP from European authorities and there it shows that exporting country is UK, importing country is UAE. Suppose, for example, I am importing. So I should get the COPP from the MHRA. So these are the mandatory documents without which we cannot file our dossier to get the approval to market. Okay. So now they accelerated giving the CPP. Earlier CPPs used to have the vetting signature. Now, no, only online signatures they will issue. So because of this, lot of time has come down, lead time has come down. Then, so one more thing you might have heard and you might have come across that I already told you also. In India, majority of in the world, the number of manufacturing facilities which has got USFDA approval are more in India. Like that, suppose you might have heard that a facility, if it is approved by USFDA or if it is approved by MHRA, that is considered as a good facility, right? You might have heard this one. So this, how it is will come, authorities will come and audit our facility and they will give the GMP certificate. The validity of the GMP certificate is 3 years, but they will not wait for 3 years. Sometimes they will come for a year, they may come for 2 years, depends upon the situation, depends upon the applications I submit for the approvals. Yeah, but minimum once in 3 years, they will come and audit. That is the minimum. Now what they have done is, if suppose some GMP certification is getting expired, no, please note, if I don't have GMP certification for Europe, I cannot export to Europe. Please note that. So that is a very important point. So what the European authorities have done, if GMP is getting expired in this year, they extended that one till December 31st, 2021. From now, it is 1.5 years. They are extended. That means they will not come and audit. This is another exemption for the pharma industry, one relief. Then Health Canada also implementing electronic CPP issuing. Health authorities started accepting non-legalized documents. What is this legalization of documents? Regulation of documents is, see, to prove that our product, our document, whatever we are giving is original document. It is not the manipulated document. So for that, what we do is, suppose if I am giving a GMP certificate, original GMP I cannot give to somebody. So I will give the Xerox copy of the GMP certificate. So suppose if I am sending the document to Mexico or Brazil or Ukraine, somewhere I am sending. So I will take this document to the Mexican embassy or Ukraine embassy located in Delhi, and I will show them original, and I will show them this copy of the document. I'll get it attested that it is checked with the original and it is the right document. I will get it attested by that country embassy. Then this document I will send to the regulatory authorities. So now what regulatory authorities are telling, okay, you don't give us legalized document for now, but once the situation is normal, you have to submit. So they're giving some relaxation. They're not compromised. Please understand, they're not compromised on the regulation. They're giving us some time. You submit it later, but today you submit whatever the document you have. Later you provide the legalized document. So this is how they are regulators are trying to give some exemptions to the pharma industry to help to cope up this COVID-19. And what is this ICMRA? I don't know. In fact, let me tell you very frankly speaking, though I'm a pharmacy professional, I should not speak like this, in fact. But honestly speaking, I don't know who is this ICMRA till some 6 months back, or till 4 or 5 months back. Afterwards, only I learned about this ICMRA. This is the ICMRA is International Coalition of Medicines Regulatory Authority. This ICMRA is a voluntary executive level strategic coordinating leadership entity of regulatory authorities that work together for what? To address current and emerging human medicine regulatory and safety challenges globally, strategically, and in an ongoing, transparent, authoritative, and institutional manner. What this ICMRA is doing is, they are bringing all the healthcare authorities like USFDA, EMA, MHLW, or TGA, Australia, or Health Canada, like this, all the HSA Singapore, like this, all the regulatory authorities, they are bringing under one roof, virtually they are bringing under one roof, and they're discussing to harmonize the requirements to help in developing the COVID-19 vaccine. Because once we develop the COVID-19 vaccine, that should be acceptable to all the regulatory authorities. So to make it acceptable to all the regulatory authorities, if there is a one common regulatory requirement, it will be more useful for me as a developer. If every country has got different requirements, it will become more difficult for me and it will become very time consuming also. So here this ICMRA is bringing all the regulatory authorities at one place and they're trying to harmonize even the protocols and everything to help the industry to develop this COVID vaccine fast. See here, provide direction for areas and activities common to many regulatory authorities. Identify areas for potential synergies. wherever possible, leverage existing initiatives, enablers, and resources. See, if you see the next slide, in last 3 months, ICMRA held 3 virtual meetings with more than 100 participants, each from 29 countries. What they have done on March 20, in the month of March, they had a meeting about the regulatory considerations for anticipated COVID-19 vaccine candidate to advance regulatory understanding and convergence and facilitate human trials. That means they are helping here to speed up the preclinical trials and to enable them to start the human trials. And again, on 9th April, they met to discuss about the development of potential therapeutics, clinical trials, and compassionate use of programs for COVID-19. And again, 16th April, they met. And they're trying to discuss about the use of real-world evidence, observational studies. That means because of these cases, so they must be getting so much information from the doctors who are treating these patients. So get that real-world evidence and observational studies to use while developing this vaccine. So this ICMRA, just there is a website, you go through that ICMRA, you will get many information. Who all are the members of it, who are working, and when they are meeting, what for they are meeting, what is the outcome of the meeting, everything will be available. Now, ICMR. ICMRA is at global level. This ICMR is Indian Council of Medical Research. This ICMR is today guiding. They are giving announcement. They are giving the direction to our health ministry, to doctors, what to use, what not to use, to patients. And in fact, they are the first people to announce that by August 15th, India will develop the medicine, India will develop the vaccine. Okay. If you see what is the role, how ICMR is helping, just let us see. In the month of March, when we heard of these cases, the sample used to be collected from patient and used to send to Pune. In entire India, there was only one lab to analyze this sample for COVID-19. Only one. That was in Pune, the Indian Council of Medical Research National Institute of Virology at Pune. But today, 555 laboratories are there across the country. 555 laboratories who can test the samples. How it is possible? It is the dedication from the hospitals or laboratories, from the regulatory authorities to give approval by checking all the things. Then one more point, if you remember, earlier we were in the month of March or April, we were doing only 100 tests per day. You know, on 18th May, India touched 100,000 tests per day. How it is possible? They developed many kits. Many kits they developed. They are given approval for the many kits. And today, if you see the news, every day we are seeing today 200,000 or 220,000 tests are being done and 20,000 positive cases, like that we are hearing every day. So on 18th May, there was 100,000 tests and today 200,000 tests. How it is possible? This is the work done by the industries, hospitals, laboratories, regulatory authorities, and of course, even the shipping the samples. Postal department also helping us. Health ministries. Everybody's cooperation, everybody's innovative thoughts. And really we can say this is the unparalleled achievement in the history of the Indian health system. From 1 to 555 in 3 months' time. 100 tests to 200,000 tests. 100 tests to 200,000 tests in a span of 4 months or 3.5 months. And there are, okay, just a brief this one about how the diagnostic test and all there. There are two types of tests. One is whole genome sequencing and real-time reverse transcriptase PCR. Today, many are followed this, the second one, real-time reverse transcriptase PCR test, because we have got many kids to use that one. Okay. Now, what are these challenges for regulators in current context? See, regulators have, as per me, is all as per me, prepared. Four types of challenges they're facing. See, now I already told you to give an approval for one IND or NDA, it will take around 1 year minimum, I told. Okay, 1 year it will take. But today, as I know, as per day before yesterday, today on 10th of July, as on 10th of July, from when website, I have the information that 2,504 clinical trials are going on for COVID vaccine. 2,504. These are from different companies in various geographies, working to get through the regulations of respective territories, health authorities. So, helping all these industries who are working on the developing the COVID vaccine, reviewing all these clinical trials and guiding them. It is not an easy task. It is a very big challenge for the regulators. So they are trying to, with the help of ICMRA, this is where the ICMRA is working, by discussing with all the regulators, by harmonizing the requirements. See, they are harmonizing the study design, making sure the data generated will comply to all the international regulatory agencies. That is the biggest challenge. So the first and foremost challenge what the regulatory authorities are facing is to guide all these developers, whoever is developing this COVID vaccine, enable to have them the design protocol which is acceptable to all the regulatory authorities. Now, the second thing is, how can changes in the manufacturing supply chain be implemented swiftly to ensure continuity of supplies? Normally, supplier change variation review process takes 6 months to 1 year with a lot of technical data. I already told you, suppose if I am forced to change the API source, I need to develop the data. I need to prove that my product is equally safe, equally quality, safety and efficacy with the earlier used API. So to develop this data and to prove that it will take, I need minimum 9 months time, because I need to develop the stability data of 6 months. Then the data I submit to the regulatory authority. Regulatory authority will take 6 months to give approval. So it is the time of 1 year, 3 months to 18 months, okay, 12 months to 18 months time. But today, European authorities are giving this approval in 2 working days for the COVID-19 related drugs. In 2 working days. What are these COVID-19 related drugs? Paracetamol also, levocetirizine, hydrochloroquine, some dexamethasone, and this remdesivir. All these are, and vitamin drugs, vitamin C, vitamin D tablets, capsules. All these are COVID-19 related, and few other antibiotics also. COVID-19 related drugs. So for this type of COVID-19 related drugs, suppose if the manufacturer is supposed to change the API source or excipient source, under the scheme of exceptional change management process, European authorities have started giving approval in 2 working days. Suppose another case is like Brazil, and they are also giving with a commitment. I should give a commitment by when I will give all the data, and they will give approval based on that. But afterwards, I have to meet that. I have to provide all the data. Otherwise, they may reject my approval also. So they're giving the type of exemptions now based on the situations. Now the third one is GMP certificates. Without GMP certificate, we are not allowed to manufacture and export. We are not allowed to manufacture. So having the GMP certification is must. So what is that? Regulatory authorities are relaxing little bit. And that's why they have given the GMP extension up to 31st December 2021. European authorities have I already told you, this is one relaxation. Then other challenges, you must be knowing every product will be having the label. Every product will be having the label. That label contains the brand name, generic name, manufacturing license number, label claim, storage conditions, shelf life, all these things. And every country will have its unique requirement on the label. So when I'm exporting to US, some label should be used in Europe. I cannot use the same label. But now industry is expecting having the harmonized label, at least for this period. So that what happens, the same stock can be given to all the countries. Product will be same, but label will be changing. So if the label is same, the product can be shared across the countries. So if health authorities, regulators give some flexibility in labeling regulations for current COVID period, industry has the option to leverage commercial batches from one market to another and can avoid drug shortage situation in markets. Now, what I'm concluding with this. In this current situation, regulations are critical to guide the industry and giving some flexibility, taking decisions with limited available data to help the patients to get better treatment options without compromising the quality of the medicines. For example, recently you might have heard that Glenmark has launched one product, FabiFlu, and our CDSCO has granted approval on 19th June 2020 with 3 months shelf life. Normally, a conventional dosage form or normally a product which can be stored at room temperature will not be given approval less than 18 months shelf life, as per my knowledge. Normally, only products who are stored at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade will be given approval with the 12 months shelf life or 6 months shelf life, 2 to 8 degrees centigrade or freezing condition. But the product to be stored at room temperature will have minimum 18 months shelf life. But in this case, for this product, our CDSCO has given approval with 3 months shelf life. Why? Because they must be having only 3 months stability data, recently developed product. And when the stability is developing, only 3 months are there. So with the 3 months data, they have given. This is what the industry is expecting from the authorities. Now, one information I would like to give you, that is the Indian pharmaceutical industry is the world's 3rd largest drug producer by volume, and the country's market manufactures 60% of vaccines globally. This constitutes 40 to 70% of supply to satisfy the World Health Organization's demand. Before closing this, I would like to tell you one thing. I would like to share my personal experience. When I was studying my B.Pharm, during holidays when I come to my native Amravati, many people used to call me, what are you studying? I used to say B.Pharmacy. Then people used to say, what, B.Com? No, I used to say, no, B.Pharmacy. But today, the same people are approaching me and asking me, when the vaccine comes, when are you people are giving us the vaccine? Today, such importance is there for the pharma industry. And another one is, you must be knowing, because of this COVID, many people are losing jobs. Even IT industry, I am finding so many of friends are losing jobs due to the lack of projects. And some people are paid with 50% salaries. That situation will not come in the pharma industry. Pharma industry is the safe. It is evergreen. And today, world is looking at the pharma industry as the savior. Today, I am feeling proud. Those days, I used to feel why my father has sent to pharmacy. Nobody is recognizing me. Those days I used to think. Today, I am feeling proud myself. That entire world is looking at pharma industry. I am part of that pharma industry. I am doing my part in developing this vaccine. I am putting small role we are playing. So we should feel, we all pharma professionals should feel proud. Hope all of you will do the great things in future. Stay safe. Don't forget the time to take care of ourselves from COVID-19. We have to maintain the social distance. Maintain social distance. Always wear the mask. Maintain 1 meter distance from your friends. Stay safe, my dear friends. Please stay safe. That is the only way. As of now, there is no vaccine. There is no vaccine. No medicine for this COVID-19. Only medicine as on today is social distancing. Please maintain the social distance. Stay safe. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the informative session, and also thank you for your encouraging words, for your inspiring words for all the pharma aspirants, and thank you for your advices also. We'll make sure that we'll all stay safe during this pandemic, and we'll wait for the good days that are ahead to come. I would like to ask you a few questions that we had during your session, and after that we'll conclude the session, sir. Can I go ahead?
Hello.
Excuse me, am I audible?
Yeah. Tell me. Come again.
Yes, sir. We have a few questions for you, after which we will be concluding the session. So can I proceed with the questions?
Okay. Please go ahead with the questions.
The first question would be, as you have mentioned, every country has its own regulatory requirements, like
Yes.
how CDSO does it for India, like different countries.
Yes.
So if regulatory affairs is aiming to ensure the quality medicine.
See, actually, is not audible. There is a pause from your side. I don't know if you can hear what I understand. I will explain you. You are asking about every regulatory authorities. As I told you, every regulatory authority has its own unique requirement, and every requirement leads to quality, safety, efficacy of the product. So one more thing I would like to explain is the world based on the regulatory requirements are divided into three. We call it as regulated markets, semi-regulated markets, non-regulated markets. This wording itself says that different regulatory authorities have got the different regulatory requirements. Okay, suppose if you take USFDA, suppose if I'm doing some study, USFDA will tell me how I should do. It may not be the same thing in case of the MHRA. It may not be the same thing in case of China, or it may not be the same in case of Japan. But in this case, in this COVID-19 scenario, in fact, if you see the ICH guidelines are what is that? Harmonization of the development requirements, regulatory requirements. So all the regulatory authorities are working together to harmonize the requirement, to reduce the development lead times, also to reduce the cost of the development. I don't know whether I answered to your question because I could not hear your question completely. If you have
Yes,
any
sir, would I repeat once again?
Yeah, please.
If regulatory affairs aims at quality and safety of medicines, then why is that different countries are having different requirements?
No, basic requirement is same. Every requirement is it leads to the proving the quality, safety, efficacy only. Quality, safety, efficacy only, ultimately. But suppose, see, before 2014, USFDA used to ask only one batch data. European authority used to ask 2 batch data. Whereas if it comes to Brazil, if it comes to Mexico, if it comes to other countries, they used to ask 3 batch data. Even China will ask 3 batch data. Why? I cannot ask that regulatory authority. It is as an industry professional, my duty is to comply to their requirements. Now, after 2014, now USFDA is also asking for 3 batch data. So this requirement will be varying country to country, regulatory authority to authority. Okay, why we cannot answer? That is, we have to follow the regulatory. That is where the ICMRA is working to harmonize. They are bringing all the regulators at one place, and they are trying to harmonize the requirement. They are trying to harmonize the protocol, study protocol itself. So, which can be made sure that it is acceptable by all the regulatory authorities. That is where the role of ICMRA, there is the role of ICH is coming into picture because of this, to help the industry, to help the developer. But I cannot answer you why it is like that.
So if ICMRA successfully approves a product, then it means that this particular product need not be accepted by the individual countries' regulatory agencies?
No. That is where the ICMRA is trying to harmonize the requirements. If the developer meets those requirements, definitely it will be accepted by all the regulatory authorities. Suppose if you take, I tell you, European authority is there. European Union means there are 27 countries as on today. 27 countries. Every country has got its own regulatory authority. But all the 27 countries have got one common authority, is called as EMEA, European Medicine Agency. Okay, so here again, all the 27 countries have different requirements. Small changes will be there, either in labeling or somewhere some changes will be there. It does not mean that all the 27 are same. But suppose if I get the approval from EMEA, European Medicine Agency, my approval is accepted by all the 27 countries. But while doing the commercialization, I may have to comply to that unique regulatory requirement of each country during commercialization. Some labeling requirement, it is like that. It will be there always. But now this coming to this, see, other days, normally I will have 10 years, 15 years target date to develop a product, to commercialize. But today it is not the situation. Today the situation is immediate requirement of vaccine. So somebody need to take that. That is why ICMRA, if you see, it is voluntarily it is coming forward. It is a volunteer organization. If you see the heading, if you go to the home page of the ICMRA, the first sentence itself written, it is a volunteer organization. They are bringing all the regulatory authorities bringing together to harmonize the requirements. Okay.
That's the exact reason why I asked this question, sir. Because exactly like a few weeks ago, we had an information from Oxford University saying that they have successfully developed a vaccine. And after that, the whole point of discussion was, if that vaccine was successful, then how long would it take to reach our country? So that is again directly related to regulatory thing. So how is the process? Like, why is this process taking a lot of time? So why is that regulatory requirements are different? So this is the reason why I asked this question, sir.
I understand. But I cannot tell you why it is like that. We have to ask the regulatory authority.
Yeah, understood, sir. Understood, sir. And the next question would be, when it comes to bioequivalence, the bioequivalence study, that bioequivalence, the studies that we do to give this abbreviated new drug application. So what is the role of regulatory affairs in bioequivalence studies?
First of all, your voice is breaking. Okay.
What is the role of bioequivalence studies and regulatory affairs?
Yeah. See, if it is a new drug, we do clinical trials. If it is a generic drug, now Aurobindo, I am working for Aurobindo, or Dr. Reddy's, or Hetero, or any company. I am a generic developer. I am not the innovator. I develop the same product after the patent is expired. Generic product I develop. Okay. Then I have to prove my product is equivalent with the innovator. I have to prove my product is equivalent with the innovator. To prove that I am equivalent with innovator, I do pharmaceutical equivalence study and bioequivalence study. Pharmaceutical equivalence means here I prove physico-chemical characters are same like innovator product. Bioequivalence study, what I do, I will see, I told you in clinical trials, we do on hundreds of volunteers, thousands of volunteers at different phases. In bioequivalence study, it is not like that. Normally, I may do 30 volunteers or maximum 100 volunteers. I do. What we do, suppose if I'm doing on 30 volunteers, I take innovator product. I take generic product, my product, test product. On 15 volunteers, I give this one. On 15 volunteers, I give this one. Okay, I take the blood sample, how the pharmacokinetics and dynamics, whether my product is equivalent with innovator or not, bioequivalent or not, I prove that one with the help of bioequivalence study. The cost of, for generic drugs. For generic drugs, we do bioequivalence study, not for the innovator drug. Innovator drug, we do clinical trials. Okay, for generic drug, we do bioequivalence study. Bioequivalence study with the innovator. We compare how the innovator is working on the human, how my product is working on human. If it is working in similar fashion, if I prove, yes, my product is equivalent, it is working, giving the same pharmacological activity, no side effects, same thing, then my product is equivalent with the innovator, then I get approval to sell the product. You got my point? Okay, thank you.
The question was the role of regulatory affairs, sir. Sir, during once a product is compliant with the bioequivalent studies, then how does regulatory affairs make that process fast? Does it make it faster, or the process that happens?
No. Again, see, CTD format, CTD, common technical document, or country specific format will be there. Country specific. Every country will have different requirements. Again, I will collect the data, API development, API stability data, retesting period, formulation, how it is manufactured, from where I am getting the API, from where I am getting excipient, what is the specification, what is the acceptance criteria, all this, and bioequivalence study data, all this I compile as a CTD format, dossier, some 5,000 to 6,000 pages. As a regulatory affair, I take the data from, see, I'm the jack of all. I'm not the master of anything. I'm jack of all. I'll be in touch with the API people. I'll be in touch with the formulation development. I'll be in touch with the analytical development. I'll be in touch with the clinical development. I'll be working with them. So I'm not a master like them in their field, but I'm jack of all. So where I need to know about every department, every discipline, something, because whatever the document it is coming, I need to check. Is it in line with the country requirement or not? If it is not country requirement, then I go back to them. I tell Baba, you please change this document. This is not acceptable. You should change like this. Or some tests are missed. This test you need to do. I will guide them. I will get it done. Then I will compile again. So I will compile all the documentation to the country requirements to prove that my product is same quality like innovator, safe like innovator, and effective like innovator. That is my duty. Then I am the single window for the organization. A regulator can talk to me. A regulator cannot talk to FRD or cannot talk to FARD. I am the single window for the organization. When it comes to regulatory, through me document go, through me document comes. I'm the single window. I'm the face of the organization for the regulatory authorities. So my duty is, whatever the product is developed in my company, I need to prove my product is, yes, it is the good quality at par with innovator, safety at par with innovator, effectiveness at par with innovator. Then I getting the approval wherever my company, my management wants to export. This is the role of regulatory professional in the industry.
And the last question, sir. In your slide, you mentioned that because of a novel thing, any product which once got 6 months, which took 6 months for approval, is now approved in 2 days. In one of your presentation, you mentioned that.
That is not product. That is the variation. Variation, not the product. Variation. Yeah. Suppose API source is changing. Already my approved API source is from X. Today, because of this COVID situation, is not able to supply. Then I am allowed to get from B. In normal condition, I am not allowed. I have to generate the data. I have to prove that product is equivalent again. I need to submit. Then they take 6 months. Regulatory authorities take 6 months to give me that approval for variation. But in this current situation, only drugs which are related to COVID-19, which are used to treating the COVID-19 patient, for such drugs, regulatory authorities are giving approval in 2 to 3 days by taking a commitment from me. In future, as and when data is ready, I need to submit that. After taking that assurance, they are giving approval in 2 to 3 days time. Yeah, especially European Union is giving like that. Not other regulatory authorities, as I know, to my knowledge, European regulatory authorities are giving approval like that under the scheme. That is the thing.
Okay, sir. So this may not be sound appropriate, but one small doubt that I want to tell it to you is, now 6 months is a very long time. 2 days is a very short time. So can we make a hybrid and make sure that these things can be made out like something like in 1 month or 2 months? Is there any possibility like that?
No, that is what the necessity. Need. If product is not there, product is not available in the market, then it is better. It is better, or having the product is better.
Having the product is better, obviously.
Having the product is better. Suppose if regulatory authority takes 2 months or 3 months, the product is not available, product shortage is there. Let me say, today Remdesivir is shortage in India. Black market, people are selling at 50,000, 60,000 rupees. It is a shortage. If suppose all the 6 companies like Cipla, Hetero, Dr. Reddy's, everybody is giving, the shortage will not be there. So always regulatory authorities will think from the public side to give the better product, safe and efficacy, quality, safety, efficacy product. But they are giving without compromising. They are taking they look at the track record of company. Suppose if Aurobindo track record is bad, they will not give me exemption. They look at the track record, they look at the capacity of the company, and they are taking the commitment from me on my letterhead saying that I will provide in 2 months time, 3 months time. I'll give the chronological data by when I can give each step. Like that, they take a commitment from me and they give the approval. That is the thing. Having product is better than not having the product.
Not having the product. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So these were the questions that I have for you today. And we thank you for your time. We thank you for your information. And we also thank you for providing a lot of insight into regulatory affairs for all the pharma fraternity. And I would like to make a announcement to all the participants. Feedback link for this session and for the evening session will be given as a single joint. The feedback link for this session and for the evening session will be given in the evening session itself. And we would like to tell you that we would again join 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hope all of you enjoyed it. I'm able to meet your expectation. Hope.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Thank you. Can I log out?
Definitely.